So the new trailer for the Chainsaw Man movie just released, and what can I say? This trailer was absolutely peak. Season 1 had some bit of controversy in regards to the art style and the overall artistic direction it took, and a lot of people had problems with the old director, Ryu Nakamura, for trying to make an incredibly hyper-realistic adaptation. Honestly, during the time when the Chainsaw Man anime was airing, I was not expecting the art direction to be one of the most controversial things that people were going to talk about. I thought the most controversial thing that people would talk about was the CGI, which I thought was actually kind of bad, and I'll get to that later in the video, but I do have to say I really was surprised at the amount of people that were complaining about the art style. And I do feel kind of bad for the director because a lot of people were being a little toxic. I personally didn't have a huge problem with the art style for season 1, but don't get me wrong, I definitely would have preferred a much more zany and wacky style. But my biggest problems with the adaptation for season 1 was the CGI and the anime original scenes and other stuff. But I mean, yeah, I guess you can say that the CGI is pretty good for anime standards, but I feel like anime fans have insanely low standards. I swear, every time anime fans see CGI that is slightly good, they'll always be like, at least it's way better than 2016 Berserk. And it's like, how low is the bar? Look, I'm not saying the CGI was horrible for the entire anime. Some parts were really bad, but overall, it was just whatever. There's just something about crisp ass 2D animation that CGI can't seem to replicate. And when I was watching season 1, it was like, okay, it's not bad, it's not terrible, but it could be so much better. And a lot of people were telling me that they had to animate Denji in CGI because it was hard to animate his chainsaws since they were constantly moving. But then I look at Katana Man and they decided to make him CGI as well. So it just makes me think, do these guys even know what they're talking about? They even made the Ghost Devil CGI, and in episode 11, when Aki was about to kill the Ghost Devil, it was standing completely still. Why would they make this CGI? They could have made the Ghost Devil 2D. This is like one of Aki's most important moments in season 1, and they decided to splatter it with CGI. And it's not just the CGI. Season 1 didn't even do a good job at adapting some of the action scenes. For example, when Aki was fighting Katana Man, in the manga, you can see a finger appear outside of the panel and it gives you this otherworldly vibe, whereas in the anime, it just looks bland as hell. Most people don't even notice that there's a finger in the anime. I know people are gonna say that Fujimoto is like a manga genius and that he was able to utilize techniques that cannot be replicated in an anime, something that can only be done in manga. But if that's the case, why can't the anime utilize techniques that can only be done in animation? If Fujimoto is taking the manga medium to his advantage, then anime is capable of taking the animation medium to its advantage. Like, I don't know, maybe make the finger an IRL finger and integrate it with the 2D to take the readers out of it so that it can give that otherworldly vibe. Or, I don't know, anything, just anything. They didn't even emphasize on Aki's sword looking like a nail, when in the manga you can clearly see that it looks like a nail. When Himeno told the Ghost Devil that she would offer her entire body in order to make a contract, the manga really emphasized the Ghost Devil smiling, and the anime doesn't even put that much emphasis on it. I mean, the pacing of the fight scenes were terrible at times. The Zombie Devil was way longer in the anime, whereas in the manga it was like a few pages. Who cares about this Zombie Devil? It has no personality, nobody cares, just get it over with. When Denji was fighting Katana Man, during the middle of the fight, they stopped to have a conversation, and it's like, we literally learned nothing from this. This conversation was so useless, all it did was just interrupt the pacing. When in the manga, there's like no time to breathe with these action sequences, and that factor of not having any time to breathe is part of what makes Chainsaw Man appealing because of how chaotic and utterly fast it can get. Besides that, let's dive into this new trailer. So the trailer starts off with a glass of water, and I'm over here thinking, okay, so far so good. And then the scene cuts to a coffee maker, and you see Denji and Reze in the background, and honestly, I was pretty disappointed because the animators forgot to draw their faces, and I was really going into this trailer with high expectations, but The lack of detail really makes me want to give this trailer a 1 out of 10. Okay, guys, I'm just joking. But as you watch the trailer, you see a close-up shot of Reze, and instantly, I can just see that the art style is completely different from season 1. The art style for this movie seems like it's going to look a lot more simplistic compared to season 1, where everything felt much more realistic, grounded, and a lot more detailed. Something about the art style for this movie seems a lot softer in comparison, but at the same time it also has more of a rough look to it, and I really feel like it matches Fujimoto's art style more than season 1. If I had to compare this change of art style to any anime, I compare it to JJK, which is kind of fitting because it's by the same studio. It really feels similar to the transition between season 1 to season 2 of JJK. And you might say, well, this is a movie. Obviously, the Chainsaw Man movie is gonna look different than the anime. And sure, you could say that, but when JJK Zero came out, the art style looked very similar to season 1. JJK Zero just looked like they took season 1's art style and polished it into movie quality. Then, when season 2 came out, the art style looked completely different with a much more simplistic and stylistic aesthetic. And honestly, it makes sense because they changed the director for season 2, which is kind of similar to what's going on with Chainsaw Man since Nakamura is no longer the director of the Chainsaw Man anime. This really does make me think that maybe season 2 is going to look similar to this movie, and maybe it's not just going to be a one-time experiment specifically for the movie, and that this is the art style we're going to be going with in the future. Before this new trailer was released, they dropped an official teaser last year, and we got to see a little bit of the animation, giving us an idea of what the movie might look like. A lot of people were saying that maybe the movie wasn't going to look like the teaser, and that the animation was done specifically for the teaser. But now that the official trailer is released, we can compare the two, and we can see that no, that teaser was very much an indicator as to what the movie will look like. I mean, take a look at this shot of Reze holding the flower and compare it to the trailer. They look almost identical.
It's not just the art style that changed, but the colours seem a lot more vibrant as well. A lot of people who complained about the art direction of season 1 talked of how dull it looked, and how it looked like a Christopher Nolan movie, but no longer is that an issue when we get to see the action of the Bomb Girl arc. Before the action initially starts, we hear Denji's voice intensify as the aspects of just closing his eyes and thinking of Makima and Rize make him go crazy. We then see our first shot of the Bomb Girl, and damn, as a Chainsaw Man glazer like myself, the attention to detail of Bomb Girl just brings a tear to my eyes. It's truly absolute cinema. One key detail of this trailer is the beep sound effect. Its abrupt usage in the second part of the trailer when the fight segment starts, and all the way until the ending of the trailer when it takes place once again. The usage of this sound effect almost puts everything to a stop in an unsettling way. This is amazing because this is everything Chainsaw Man is about. One second it's wholesome, another second it's pure carnage and destruction. The shift in the pacing of Chainsaw Man feels like it's back. We won't have the same drag of pointless scenes that add nothing to the anime, that go on way too long like season 1. We then see a quick frame of shots where the Bomb Girl uses her powers, throwing her bombs at Denji as he rides the shark, aka Beam, the guy we met in season 1. As the trailer intensifies, the pacing keeps getting faster and faster. We hear some important dialogue from Aki that people may have missed, where he says the objective of the Bomb Girl is to capture Denji. Also, before we continue, something a lot of people may overlook is how Aki looks way different in the trailer from how he did in season 1. The art style in season 1 toned down the colour of his hair, and also his eyes, similar to Makima. In the trailer, it looks completely different, and we finally get to see some character expression in the way he looks, having his dark blue eyes finally being the colour in which they were meant to be in the manga, and all around Aki looking how Fujimoto drew him in the manga. For all the Komedi fans, the trailer shows her desperately begging for her life. We then finally switch to Denji and Rize fighting it out, and something to know about this type of art style that is used is very similar to Sukuna and Maharaga's fight scene. You can see that the art team put extra frames worth of detail on every character. This almost brings them to life and gives them an extra added feel of personality. When Rize uppercuts Denji, you can feel the power behind it through every scene, and this leads to the last scene between Denji and Rize. Denji calls upon Beam, asking him not to let him down, as Rize prepares her bombs around her, as Denji charges towards her, and the trailer ends with that abrupt, unsettling siren showing how Chainsaw Man's world is completely insane and the insanity that we can all prepare for in 2025, as we don't really have a date, but just confirmation of the year when the movie will launch. So, it's been a while, right? A month maybe since we made a video. Yeah, I'm sorry for that, guys. Me and Justin behind this channel have been a bit busy, but Chainsaw Man truly getting the love it deserves just makes us both happy that we can express our gratitude for the anime and the manga. Speaking for myself, I'd stopped caring about anime and manga as a whole until 2 years ago when Justin reintroduced me to Chainsaw Man, and honestly Fujimoto's mangas are what keep me going in the anime and manga space. I hope we can all finally, together, enjoy this up and coming Chainsaw Man Bomb Girl arc movie. And with that all being said, thanks for watching and we'll catch you guys later.